most intense, thrilling, electrifying sport on the planet. Mixed martial arts. You've been looking for the definitive podcast to call your new home to hear everything about it. The search is over. This is the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. Bringing you the hottest MMA breakdowns straight from the heart of the octagon. This show is all about MMA breakdowns. For fans, by fans. We're talking UFC, MMA, and the occasional big boxing match. We'll bring our unique take on how these fights are going to play out and who we think are the best bets. Welcome to the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. And now your hosts, Olin, a.k.a. MMAnomaly, and Emiliano, a.k.a. Jive Turkey Nano.
What is up, fight fans? Welcome back to another beautiful episode of the MMAnomaly Show, No Filter. I'm your host, as always, Olin, aka MMAnomaly. With me, as usual, is the co-host with the most, Jive Turkey Nano. How we doing, Nano? How'd the travels go this week?
Oh, man, it was a fantastic trip, brother. Thank you for asking. Great to be back. I was in Mexico, San Miguel de Allende, to be exact. Beautiful town. Highly recommend y'all looking it up on TikTok or the YouTubes or wherever you get your content at. But, brother, it was fantastic, man. A lot of tacos, a lot of good meals, a lot of cervezas, and a lot of fun, man. Glad to be back, though. A lot of news, an exciting fight card. But for now, we got to make sure we recap this exciting weekend that I had, because there was two good events that we need to discuss.
Absolutely. It was a fantastic weekend in the world of combat sports. We had, as you said so brilliantly, we had a lot of stuff going on. Oh, there we go. Shed some light on the subject. Turn this one in. Oh, there we go. Much better. So we have a lot to go over, as you said. We have a lot to discuss. There was not only a pretty fantastic UFC event, but there was also a pretty entertaining, I wouldn't say the most highly skilled matchups in the world of influencer boxing, but boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. There was an entertaining fight night, to say the least. So we are going to go ahead and jump into what you know us for the most here, and that's MMA talk. We're going to go ahead and jump right into the UFC card, what we got right, what we got wrong. There were some things, I guess, to a T, and there were others, well, not so much. So that being said, we'll go ahead and start off at the bottom of the card here. Nano, man, I think we both agreed on this one for a change. We said Emily Ducote was probably going to go in there and give Ashley Yoder, the Spider Monkey, a bit of a hard time. But before we address how right we got that, Mad Max Meridian, welcome back to the chat, brother. And you are absolutely right. Olin is gassed from all that Thai kicky foot. It's a fact, man. Super
It'll
gassed.
get you. It'll get you. Sneaks up on you. But
Three
yeah, man,
this week, we're grinding, baby.
Let's go. Love to hear it, baby. That's it, baby. Get that sweat in. Oh, every limb is a weapon. Let's go. Great movement, brother. Love to see it. This was a fun one to start the card, though, man. Yeah, definitely. Emily Ducote did just enough to edge it out, right? I mean, was just a little bit more active each round, was lean the dance, and definitely was just a little bit more well-rounded when it comes to landing to the head, ripping the body, and even chopping out the legs, man. The three-peat, the triple crown, you like to say. What did you think of the fight, brother?
Personally, I thought the fight was, pretty fantastic. As far as competition goes, I didn't think it was one-way traffic at all. I thought Ashley Yoder did what she could to stay in the fight, but Emily Ducote just seemed to be just a step ahead of her everywhere the fight went. She made Ashley Yoder go 0 for 3 on takedowns, while she herself went 1 for 1 on takedowns. That's 100% takedown percentage for those of you that are bad at math. So again, she dictated the pace of the fight. She controlled where the fight would go at all points of the fight. And I mean, that's what you need to do. So won't dwell too much on that one. Moving into the next one, we had Chris Gutierrez, the man, the myth, the legend himself, coming in against Ala Tangali. I thought that fight was pretty much one-way traffic. I thought Chris Gutierrez looked like just the better, more experienced man. And I mean, if you didn't know why they call him El Guapo, I hope you found out.
Absolutely. El Guapo translates to good looking, to handsome, or just in other words, looking great out there, looking fantastic. So muy guapo, this handsome guy looked out there and had a handsome performance, most definitely. And yes, I know that because, I am Mexican. I did spend some time in Mexico recently, but just so y'all know, guapo means good. But yeah, man, and he looked good out there. Not great. I think that is one of those things I was hoping to see maybe a little bit more from him, but it felt like he did just enough to get the job done here. Over the 3 rounds, landing over 100 strikes total, over 110 significant strikes. I think that just goes to show that everything he was landing was flush. He was able to really do whatever he wanted to throughout the entire fight. Able to stuff some of those takedowns, but Ali Tang Jae Lee was able to sorry, close. That's Allah. His opponent was 2 for 4 for takedowns. So again, Guapo was able to do enough to stifle his defender there and ultimately get the job done, man. What were your thoughts on the fight? What were your takeaways?
Yeah, same. I mean, I will say that I agree with JJ Smoke, and welcome back to the chat, JJ Smoke. We appreciate you being here. I did think that Chris would have been able to finish him. However, Ala Tangeli he's a beast, man. He's very solid. Even if he wasn't able to land the most shots in the world in that fight, he was able to withstand quite a beating, quite a thrashing. He absorbed well over 100 strikes, folks, and he landed less than 40 of his own. So he ate 115 total strikes, and across everywhere. Like he was eating leg kicks, he was eating body shots, he was eating headshots. It was bad. But he did do really good in my opinion. But again, it's not the type of performance that's going to earn him a title shot or anything like that. And it's also over kind of an up and comer. So like to see him bounce back into the top 15, like to see him really get another name kind of handed to him and see what he's able to do against, I don't want to say better competition, but more experienced competition, for lack of better words.
I agree 100% with that. And that's really where my next name for an opponent would be here for the 14th ranked Chris El Guapo Gutierrez. I do feel that Ricky Simon is somebody that is a grizzled veteran, a staple in the top 15. Certainly can be somebody that has a lot of motivation since his loss to Yadong Song earlier this year in April. But I do think if he's healthy, he ain't getting any younger, this will be a good matchup here for Chris. Anybody above him, I mean, boy, the farther you go up, the tougher it gets. So that feels like a good one. Again, Chris Gutierrez didn't look fantastic out there. I think this would be a good stepping stone. And that's no disrespect to Ricky Simon. I think more so it's a fair next level of caliber opponent for him before he gets a crack at the top 10. What are your thoughts, brother?
Yeah, no, 100% agree.
Ooh, okay.
Just
starting off on the right foot here.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. Jumping into the chat real quick, Mad Max Meridian did ask, does Gutierrez train with Martinez? Not to my knowledge. They may have trained together at some point in their history of training. But to my knowledge, currently, they don't train together. Do they?
They do. I did hear this information on the Anik and Florian podcast. They are teammates. That is maybe why they look similar, but they train together. There's some familiarity there. Yep. Okay,
never mind. I thought so. Chris Gutierrez, I thought trained out of Factory X, and I didn't think that's where Yana is trained out of, but I could be wrong. All right, maybe they recently started training together. I know Yana is used to fight at a Metro Fight Club, and I mean, like, man, I don't know. Yeah, I'm stumped. I guess they do train together. I'm not gonna say Anik Florian wrong. Oh, sorry. Gutierrez and Martinez. Okay, sorry. I was thinking of the wrong person. Him and Martinez. Okay, that makes a lot more sense because they definitely have similar fight styles. Okay, That's my bad. That was a mix-up on my behalf. Fucking amateur hour up in here today, guys. So yeah, I agree. I know. I'm really not mad at a font match. I think a font matchup makes a lot of sense. I think that's a really, really fun one. Rob Font
Whoa.
coming in there against Gutierrez. Why not,
Ooh.
man? Both those guys like to bang, and it'd be a fan favorite matchup.
That is a fun one. Oh boy. That is a fun one. I like it.
I personally feel like that'd be a really good one, man.
Dominic Cruz is somebody else that's floating around. I know he wants to try to get a shot at the title, but maybe he'd want to get a little piece of El Guapo.
Yeah, I mean,
Just call this fight. Maybe he's like, you know what? I'll get a piece of this dude.
why not? Why not? Jump in there with him.
A lot of fun names, man, in the stack division.
Just kidding. JJ Smoke said Font Figueiredo fighting, so maybe he takes a loser of that fight.
There we go.
Gutierrez gets the loser of Font Figgy. I think that's a good one. I don't like Cruz versus El Guapo. I don't like that matchup for Cruz. I feel like
Fair.
El Guapo would chew up the legs of Cruz and just debilitate the footwork, and that would just completely shut down Dominic Cruz. So don't love that. I've seen Dominic Cruz get head kicked, knocked out in person, and don't need to ever see that happen again as a fan. So moving into the next fight, let's talk about where the night started to go wrong for us, guys. Russian Ronda did not get it done. Her striking looked pretty subpar. She looked pretty sloppy in there. She went 1 for 4 on takedown attempts. And I got to say, I mean, the most shocking thing about this fight wasn't Irina Alekseeva letting me down. It was more so Melissa Dixon just showing up and showing out and showing off. Man, Melissa Dixon, dude, she went out there and she earned a fan in me. I'll tell you that. She landed 87 out of 148 strikes thrown, 52 of which were significant strikes landed. And again, she stuffed 3 out of 4 of Irina Alekseeva's takedowns, which is exactly what you need to do against a gal who refers to herself as the Russian Ronda Rousey. As far as what's next for Melissa Dixon, I don't know if she's top 10 caliber or even top 15 caliber right now, but I don't think that it's crazy to say that she will be in the next 2 years. I hope that they don't Icarus her and fly her too close to the sun too fast, because I do unfortunately think that we would see her wings just burn apart and she'd come plummeting down and out of the UFC, a la JP Bays, who just got cut from the UFC today. So I don't want to see that. I'd like to see her fight somebody on the outskirts of maybe the top 20 in that division. I don't necessarily have any names in mind. I think there's a lot of fun matchups that make a lot of sense for her. Curious to hear your thoughts on how you saw that fight going.
Yeah, brother, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think we both obviously were leaning or assuming that Melissa Dixon was not going to have a solution for the Russian Ronda Rousey, right? I mean, maybe we fell into the name. Maybe we didn't factor in that Ronda Rousey did get pieced up by girls that knew how to box and knew how to have a well-rounded game. Guess the writing might have been on the walls. That is definitely on us. Eat the humble pie there. Pour up the shot here soon. No, but yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, I think you don't feed her to the wolves just yet. I mean, she does have a good record there, undefeated. The bantamweight division, once you look past that top 10, to be totally honest, feels like it's pretty thin. I mean, we saw Miesha Tate here ranked the 12th. When is she going to fight? Is she going to fight? I mean, I wouldn't mind a little shakeup, get an undefeated girl to get some momentum and build around her potentially, because Melissa did look good and was able to control Russian Ronda Rousey over here. So, yeah, I don't have any names on the top of my mind, but overall, Melissa Dixon definitely earned my respect.
Speaking of earning respect, we do have, we own up to our bets here. We did put a shot on this one. We both thought Irina was going to get it done, and well, big shocker, she did not. So I said going into that bet that I will never bet against Irina again after she proved me wrong in her first outing. So I'm just going to come right out and say it. So that way I have a reminder on the YouTubes and in the internets. Send it hashtag to the internet, or as they say in Cobra Guy, #pround, send it to the internet. I'm just never going to bet on an Irina Alekseeva fight again, unless she's fighting like Valentina Shevchenko, and I just know she's going to get murdered out there. Just leaving it alone. Just going to leave it in the sand, guys. It's like the yellow snow. You just leave it alone. Don't mess with that.
Just don't even get near it. It may look tempting, but don't do it.
It's like, is that lemonade? No, it's a bad choice.
No, stop.
No.
Far from it.
It's not. It's not
exact
eliminated.
opposite.
Don't do it. So yeah. Cheers to staying away from Irina Alexeva betting. Oh man.
Well, this next one's a more positive note, I'll tell you that much.
Mad Max Meridian says, was that the Metal Gear Alert sound I hear for a second? Maybe. I do not own the rights to that sound. Please don't hit me with a DCMA strike. So, continuing to move forward in this fight card. Speaking of earning respect, Terrence McKinney came out there and just like you see Nano flexing. I mean, the only way I can describe this and put it into words is, have you ever finished a can of ice cold Coors Light and then you put it on the ground and you got a big old boot on and you just smash it? That's exactly what that fight looked like. It was a can being crushed. I want to see T-Rex get highly ranked opponents. Not like, I'm not saying like top 10, but somewhere between 11 to 18, I wouldn't be mad at. Like, real talk, for everybody in the chat, this, like, for those of you that lurk and never respond or never type in the chat, this is the one point in time that I need you to actually be active in the chat and say something, okay, folks? Just say yes or no in the chat. Before Saturday, had you ever heard of or did you know who Brendan Marlott was? That's all I want to know. That's it. Just yes or no. Did you know who that guy was? I'm a diehard MMA fan, guys. I've got a fucking fake replica belt behind me on the heavy bag that's in my home office, guys. I didn't know who that kid was. I had to watch tape on him. So, like, Nano, did you know who that guy was?
I'm smiling over here to myself and also shaking my head a little bit, but no, did not know much about the guy. Like you said, had to do a little tape. That's the name of the game. I mean, I know this UFC roster is getting deeper and deeper. We have our 9 to 5s and, you know, real life stuff here. It's hard to get around to everything. And sometimes it's hard to find tape on some of these people, or you see some Cage FC or Alaskan FC or wherever they're coming from locally, Kansas City FC. Then you realize, yeah, I don't even know how relevant this is. So,
Combat Zone.
Combat Zone. I mean, Lord knows how many other organizations are out there. So
that's where Brendan the Kid Marlott came from. He came from Combat Zone.
Yeah, man. Yeah, to your point. I mean, hey, this flyweight division is absolutely stacked. I mean, it is a murderer's row. If you look up and down, the top 25, top 30. I mean, ranking MMA.com has Paddy Pimblett at 26. Terrence currently sitting at 38. I mean, well, someone like a Clay Guida is in front of him. I guess maybe you got to put a little more respect on Terrence McKinney here, but someone like a Nasrat Haqparast, I mean, hey, coming off 2 wins, most recently against Landon Quinones. Jim Miller's still in the conversation. That's a fun name. That's a legend. Could get some respect against Terrence McKinney, although obviously the cop-out's going to be, oh, well, Jim's old, and how could you do that to an old man? Well, I don't know. Fair enough. Then maybe an Alexander Hernandez, somebody who most recently did take an L, but is another big name. Stars can align there, but yeah, obviously on the same card and all. Or no, he fought last week. My apologies. Do you have any other names in mind, though, brother?
So I have a couple names. I'm going to be honest. Jim Miller, I think, is a fucked up name. I don't want that name anywhere near Terrence McKinney, just because, like, not for like Jim Miller's sake. I feel like that's just a bad match for McKinney. I feel like Jim Miller, like, was doing leg kicks before leg kicks were fucking cool. Like, he immobilized, was it Nate or Nick that he fought? It was Nate Diaz. He immobilized Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz looked at him like, what the fuck was that? Like, it was wild when Nate ate that kick. I remember seeing that, and that was probably the first time I visibly saw panic in Nate Diaz's fucking eyes. But yeah, and here's the thing: like, he fucked up his own leg in the process, just like Mad Max Meridian said. But like, he was landing whoppers of kicks, right? Again, before they were cool. I feel like he's a bad matchup for Terrence because things that Terrence does good is rush in, land solid power, and he does have like some wrestle negation, but against low tier wrestlers. I think one of three things would happen if you fought Jim Miller. Jim Miller would either get a leg kick TKO on him, possibly get a nasty submission on him, or take him down and ground and pound the absolute fuck out of him. Instead of that, I think for Terrence McKinney, I would rather see, and I only have one name on my page here. I have Alex Bruce Leroy Caceres after he recovers, obviously, from the broken arm that he got from fighting Giga Chikadze recently. I think that'd be a great way for Terrence McKinney to break into the top 15. Caceres is just right at the edge of the top 15 there on the wrong side. And I think a win over an up-and-comer like Terrence McKinney would knock him right back into number like 13, 12, etc. But for Terrence McKinney, a win over fucking Alex Caceres would arguably make him a name. Caceres has been with the company for longer than Dustin Poirier. That's a fun fact. And that's well over a decade for both men, just so you know. So, I mean, come on. Let's see.
I like it.
Mythical fighter, Lyme disease free Jim Miller. All in my melt strikes again. Dude, straight up, I'm telling you right now, Lyme disease free Jim Miller is a nasty motherfucker, bro. I can't believe he fought like that for so long.
I wish I were in that alternate universe. Yeah, that's a good one.
Dude, like, yeah, I just think Jim Miller's a bad match for him. I do like Alex Caceres a lot. There's obviously a couple of other names that I think could make a lot of sense, but for me, I'm going to be stubborn and sit on that hill. I think Alex Caceres is just the perfect lineup.
Oh, JJ Smoke, bringing some smoke. Great to see you, brother.
Caceres is at 145 and T-Rex is at 155, though. That's true, but Caceres, I thought, went up to 155, didn't he?
Jamie, pull it up.
Did I botch this real quick? Hold up. Alex Caceres. Bruce Leroy. Because I thought that fight with... Oh, no, you're right. He's 145. The fuck am I smoking today?
I wish I had what you're having, brother.
Fair. Well, if that's the case, then we'll come back to that one. Maybe not Alex Caceres. Sheesh. Let's see what JJ said here. I think they should rebook T-Rex versus Duncan. Chris Duncan? Is that who you're talking about? Yeah. I'm not mad at that.
A different Leroy?
A different Leroy. Yeah, I'm definitely not mad at. Oh, excuse me. Thank God I was able to mute it. Glad I did not want to sneeze in you guys' ears. So, moving forward, we're going to go ahead and skip the Tainara Lisboa fight. Even though it was a fun fight, it was a solid fight. A little more wrestling than I expected it to be. A little more grapple heavy. Speaking of grapple heavy, though, can we just move forward and talk about the man, the myth, the legend, Darren, the Damage Elkins, coming in against Downtown TJ Brown. Nano, I'm going to let you take the lead on this one, my guy. You got a hot mic. What was your thoughts on this fight?
Let's go. Hey, man, Damage, lightning tattooed Darren Elkins here did a lot of damage, brother. It was a fun showing by him, most certainly. Almost needed the full 15, but saw his opportunity before then. Didn't want it to go to the judge's hands. He said, you know what? I'm going to take care of business right now. I'm going to put TJ Brown out of his gosh darn misery, okay? Darren Elkins, what can we say, man? He put on a legendary performance. I don't know if you heard my little buzzing there. My apologies. Landed a total of 95 strikes, through 146. I mean, what can we say? He had over 8 minutes of control time, 5 for 8 out of his takedowns. The boy was busy. He was searching and looking for a way to inflict damage any way he possibly could, and he did a lot of that, man. So it was a great showing by him. Curious to hear your thoughts and further breakdown and analysis here, but also hear what's next you think here for Darren, the Damage Elkins.
I think when I think of Darren the Damage Elkins, I think of, there's a quote from Dragon Ball Z. I think Frieza was probably the first one to say it, like, "This isn't even my final form." And that's Darren Elkins to me. Like, when he starts the fight, like, it's definitely not his final form. When he's got a little blood trickling down his face, it's not his final form. When he's wearing the fucking classic red mask, the scarlet mask as they call it, that's when you know he's reached his final form. And unfortunately for downtown TJ Brown, he couldn't even get him to I think his third form. He couldn't even get him past that transformation, guys. I really think Darren could have beat him at base form here. No Super Saiyan needed. Darren is an absolute legend to the sport. He's someone that's done this for a very long time. The man has damn near 40 fucking fights under his belt, and he's accrued quite a bit of octagon time. He goes out there and, whether he wins, loses, or draws, the man absolutely puts on a show and is willing to legitimately die out there to put on a show for us fans. And he is one of the last of a dying breed in this sport. So I damn sure appreciate people like Darren the Damage Elkins. I will almost always bet a little bit on Darren. You got to. He's a fucking dog. He's a dog. And that's why we love him. He's a dog. So he threw 146 strikes, as you said. He landed 95 of those. He absorbed 45 strikes. Now, the crazy thing is he only landed 11 significant strikes. His opponent landed 15. But, the crazy thing is, like, he only attempted 33 significant strikes, whereas his opponent attempted 50. So there's a huge discrepancy in just accuracy overall, right? Overall accuracy, Darren probably looked better than he ever has. 65% clip. Are you fucking kidding me in an MMA fight? Wild, son. Love to see that shit. He looked fantastic out there. He went 5 for 8 on takedowns. Again, over 60% accuracy. He landed at a 62% clip on takedown attempts. When you get over 5 takedown attempts in there and you land 62% of those, son, I hope your opponent packed a lunch, because they are going to be exhausted. I say that as someone who loves to do Muay Thai. I love boxing. I love striking. I am not Mad Max Meridian in the chat, folks. I fucking hate Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I fucking hate grappling. Why? I love watching it. I know the techniques, but there's a difference between knowing it when you're watching it and knowing it when someone is choking your shit out. And it's not fun if you don't know how to respond to it in the moment. And I truly feel like a lot of people, when they're going against someone like Darren Elkins, it's the same when you're going against a striker and you're landing everything and the kitchen sink on them, and they're moving forward with that red face, smiling, just taking the damage, pun intended, guys. That's Darren Elkins, right? Like, he'll eat it and just keep moving forward. He is a fucking T-1000. He is Skynet, bro. He is a Terminator, and he is determined. He is a determinator. So love to see that performance. It was just, again, classic fucking vintage Darren Elkins. And what do I think's next for Darren Elkins? Honestly, there's a lot of options for Darren Elkins. And again, realistically, I do think that after a win like that, he should get somebody in the rankings. I wouldn't be mad at seeing him fight like Lerone the Miracle Murphy or Dan Ige, being completely honest. Did you have a name on the tip of your tongue?
Man, this is an interesting one. Yeah, Darren Elkins did look solid out there, and Father Time is definitely not on his side. That's the only thing. Being 39 years old, you'd want to see him maybe go up against somebody that's maybe within that realm. I don't know if Cub Swanson's still fine or not, or if he's already retired, but I had that name circled in terms of someone that's floating around that top 15-ish. Or who's just a big name that would be fun to watch a score off against a Darren Elkins. But man, I don't have anybody else on my man. This is a stacked division, a lot of talent, but all these guys I just look at, and it's tough for Darren to get a win through any of them. But what do you think, brother?
Yeah, I completely agree. And I also agree with Mad Max Meridian in the chat. TJ was Krillin impelled by the second form. Absolutely facts, son. If TJ's best friend was hitting cage side, he probably went Super Saiyan. That's what the next matchup is going to be. He's going to fight the damage for revenge, for revengeance. Again, like I said, I think Lerone the Miracle Murphy would be a really, really solid matchup for him. And yeah, Dan Ige. I think Dan Ige would be a really fun matchup for him too. Dan Ige is coming down the rankings a little bit. Lerone's coming up the rankings. But again, with a win like that, I do think Darren the Damaged Elkins should and could get a win over him. So sign me up for that. Again, anytime that man fights, you can bet I'll be watching. Speaking of times that you can bet we will be watching, my goodness. I may have been wrong about Cameron Simon. But fuck, I was not wrong about that being fight of the night, guys. Give those guys 50 G's because that was definitely fight of the night, guys. I literally throughout the entirety of that fight, like these guys were throwing like spinning back kicks. They were throwing just like super hard shots throughout the fight. Like again, C-Rod landed 92 strikes, 83 of them were significant shots. Cameron Simon landed 87 strikes, 73 of them were significant shots. I mean, every time these guys were balling up their fists or spinning around and throwing their fucking legs, I was like, holy what the It was honestly insane. It was a fantastic match. I was sweating bullets. I really, really thought Cameron Simon, I thought by the grace of God, he was going to pull it off in that third round. He was pouring it on him in that third round. It was a fun fight. But before I steamroll ahead, Nano, tell us what you thought of Africa's very own Cameron Cyberman coming in against C-Rod himself.
Ah, man. Well, obviously this one hurt me real deep, man. Simon, I still believe will be the man, but Saturday was not his night, unfortunately. And I gotta say, man, gotta put an asterisk next to Christian Rodriguez. There is obviously an elefante in the room, okay? And the truth of the matter was, he was, 3 pounds overweight? Come on, man. Come on, man. He missed weight? Unacceptable. I think
have a question for the chat. Can anybody point out one UFC fight where C-Rod actually made weight? If you can actually tell me a UFC fight where C-Rod made weight, wait in the chat after the show and send me your address. I will send you a free fucking MMAnomaly shirt.
It's unacceptable. This guy's a featherweight signing up and dressing up as a bantamweight. Like, come on. This is ridiculous, man. Yeah. Like Mad Max is saying here in the chat, amateur hour. Unacceptable. And I think those 3 pounds, as most fighters would say, that's all the difference. 1 pound is all the difference, especially when you get to the last 5 to 7 pounds here. And we're talking 3 additional. You hate to see it. This young kid might as well just move up. I don't care how good he looks at this division. And the reality is he did look darn good. I mean, he was leading the dance. He was able to stay within the pocket. And every time Cameron Simon tried to come in, Christian had something for him. I mean, he was finding the chin. He was able to get control, get on the ground, was forcing submission attempts or really just posing that threat, which is more than enough to keep Cameron on his back foot and really allowed Christian to carve out that path to a victory, man. It was a fun fight, like you said, back and forth. The numbers suggested as well, almost as Mike Goldberg would say, virtually identical, but very close. You know, again, the difference here would have been Christian Rodriguez landing half of his takedowns, 3 out of 6, but edging it out again on his feet was just leading the dance, finding the chin, and all of his strikes, even though they're similar, just felt more impactful. And Simon was wearing it. And again, it's tough for me to compliment the kid when, again, you're just constantly missing weight. It's just unacceptable. You can't reward them. I don't know what you do with them. Maybe you just put them in the back pocket, wait until you absolutely need them. But it's tough for me to say what's next. I mean, they are still young, which again just tells you might as well just move up a weight class, give it a shot, see how it feels, and then just settle in there would be probably my recommendation for the kid. But what do you think, brother?
I think I have to look up a fight to see if JJ Smoke just won a free fucking t-shirt.
Let's go.
Oh, the Joshua Weems fight was in the UFC. All right. JJ Smoke.
Nice.
Send me a Twitter DM with your address, and I will send you a shirt. And make sure you send me your size too, and whatever color you want it in. So apparently he has made weight once in the UFC against a man named Joshua Weems. So yeah, I guess there's that, guys. Again, absolutely unacceptable The man has only made weight one time in his UFC tenure. It's really hard to compliment him when he missed weight. That 3 pounds makes a huge difference when you're weighing in at 135 pounds, guys. Like, that's over 2% of your max, like, total fucking body weight. So the man is 2.22% overweight. Pretty fucking significant. And also, as Mad Max Meridian pointed out, funnily enough, Weems missed weight in that one. So, maybe he learned something from Weems in that fight, and that's how to efficiently fucking miss weight. So C-Rod got it done. He did look really good out there. Again, 92 shots compared to 87, 83 compared to 73 in significant shots. And where it really was the biggest differentiator was the takedowns, right? C-Rod landed 3 for 6 takedown attempts. And he was able to kind of suck the energy out of Cameron Simon. But the crazy thing is, Cameron Simon, even though he should have had no energy, the man was still throwing lead in the third round. He was throwing spinning back kicks. He threw a couple of really nice spinning back kicks to the body that I always kind of like fanboy out over, because my spinning back kicks are absolute fucking garbage. So I love seeing people that throw those effectively, and truly at bantamweight right now, he's one of the better kind of spinning shit throwers that there are in the division. He just, like, I'm not saying he throws the strongest or the biggest shots, right? But he throws shots that are not, they have no tell. There's no setup. So they're just very quick. You don't see them coming, and he mixes them in with the rest of his overall striking and stand-up game so damn well. I mean, it's brilliant to watch. So here I am complimenting Cameron Simon more than I'm complimenting his opponent who defeated him, C-Rod, again, because C-Rod missed weight. But we don't want to play favorites here. C-Rod did get the win, as much as I don't like the fact that he got it by missing weight. What should be next for him? C-Rod is someone who has now dismantled not one, but 2 up-and-comers. If you don't remember, this is the young man that beat 18-year-old Raul Rosas Jr. So what should be next for him? Again, I think we should push him into the top 15. Adrian Yanez is right on the edge of 15. Just got bumped down 1 notch after that loss. I think, obviously, C-Rod didn't come out of that fight unscathed or scotch-free, so to say. He took some damage, guys. He took some big fucking shots. He's going to need some time to heal up, too. I'm not mad at seeing that fight play out. I think Adrian Yanez will be a fun matchup for him. And if he can get past an Adrian Yanez, that boy's top 10 material, folks.
Sheesh. You're right, man. He has all the makings. Like I said, he looked good in there. He looked poised, looked well-rounded. I mean, that fight, for anybody that's under 25 years old, that's a clinic of what you want to strive for. At that age, with that kind of IQ and that kind of talent and those skills, come on. But to that, we do got to do a shot, because we were wrong about it.
I know you're wrong about it. Cheers to better decisions. And Mad Max Meridian, I feel like you'll probably get a kick out of this, since I can tell you're a Dragon Ball Z fan, obviously. So this is something that my fiance saw online and just had to get me for my office, my home office. Yeah. Big
so
Vegeta
sick.
Guy.
So
Big
sick.
Vegeta guy. So yeah, I literally have that above my little backdrop. You know what I'm saying? Vegeta, let's go. And of course, this guy right here, the Goku to my Vegeta.
Let's go. Battle tested, baby.
Let's go.
You
This
know
is
the
now
boys.
a Dragon Ball Z podcast. On the next episode of the MMAnomaly Show, no filter.
There is a new Dragon Ball Z coming out. We should break it down in an episode.
Oh, dude, facts. We're definitely gonna be doing that. I'd be down to do a weekly breakdown of that once it starts coming out.
Might have to.
Let's get it. Oh, dude, Broly was fucking amazing. Broly, the first Broly movie, loved Broly. He was fucking just absolutely OP as all get out. Hated Vegeta. That was the one time I despised Vegeta ever.
I feel it. They made him look like a real douche.
He was so pathetic. He's like, how can I compare to him? He's the legendary Super Saiyan.
What? He's real? It's like he saw the freaking, like he saw a Sasquatch. Like, what the hell? Okay, come on. Yeah.
And then, of course,
but that one has a special place in my heart, though, as always.
Oh,
I mean, that one's a
dude.
great movie. Yeah.
My dad's favorite character was always Piccolo, so like he fucking ate it up. He's like, yeah, why is Vegeta being such a little bitch? Piccolo's the fucking man. And then Piccolo does that shit where he just picks him up and drops him. He's like, if you're just gonna sit there, then don't stand in the way. Pff, drops his shit.
Sick.
Honestly, that movie was amazing. Also, since we're on the topic of the first Broly movie, as Ariel Helwani says, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that was by far the coolest Super Saiyan transformation for Trunks I've ever seen, or any Super Saiyan. You have the lineup of them all going Super Saiyan, and then when Trunks goes Super Saiyan, he's wearing the Capsule Corp jacket and the fucking black wife beater. Literally the reason I have like probably 12 fucking black wife beaters, and I always wear them as undershirts. Dude literally just flexes, goes Super Saiyan, and the Capsule Corp jacket just literally fucking incinerates from the flex, bro. Like, everyone else's clothes intact. Trunks is like, fuck this jacket. It was amazing.
So sick. Black beater time.
You know what I'm saying? Like, let me show off the guns. It's Tuesday. Tuesdays for the guns. So yeah, obviously that scene stuck with me for the last fucking 20 years. And in other anime news, Yu Yu Hakusho is not only getting a Netflix live action adaptation, but I heard today Yu Yu Hakusho is getting a reanimation remake. They're doing a fucking reanimation remaster of the original series. I am so fucking stoked, bro. I'm so stoked.
Nice.
And I'm also 90% sure that Megan Thee Stallion likes Yu Yu Hakusho. She posted like 3 things on Instagram with the Yu Yu Hakusho intro music. And I'm exponentially more of a fan of hers now. So jumping back into the fights. We do have a few more fights to go over on that note. Andre Petrosky coming in against Michelle Pajeda. Michelle Pajeda coming up in weight. He has found a new home at middleweight. I got to tell you, I couldn't have seen this going more differently. I couldn't have seen it going more differently. I don't know what else to say. Did you bet on Petrosky too in this one?
No, I definitely was leaning Michel. I mean, not only for the name,
that's right.
That's right. Damn it. I think this is a good example, though. This is a good lead off to where you're hearing this. You're hearing this narrative. Appreciate you, brother. You're hearing this narrative a lot nowadays about how welterweights are able to go up to middleweight, and they're having quite a bit of success. Michel is another example of that. A lot of these guys are tweeners. There is that 15-pound gap. So they're trying to kill themselves to get down to 170. But now that he's sitting there, and again, this is somebody that really isn't as disciplined in the octagon. Who knows how disciplined he is outside the octagon. But what we did see was somebody who was at probably the proper weight class and who is explosive as an athlete as you'll ever see. And I think the one caveat here is, I mean, granted, the fight lasted, a minute long, I believe. There you go, brother. Cheers. I didn't need long to showcase his skills, but that whole minute and 6 seconds that the fight lasted, Michel was locked in, looked patient, found his opportunity, punched through the high guard of his glove, which, 4 ounces and his fist really isn't much. Basically made him slap himself in the face. But that's all it took. And next thing you know, he was out of there. Oh, I see you, brother. Now that you're warmed up, man, how'd you feel about it?
Warmed up? I'm fucking gassed.
I'm fried, brother.
I'm done, dude. I'm a bottle rocket, bro. I don't last long, but it's fucking exciting while I'm up.
Hell yeah.
So, jumping into this fight, speaking of it doesn't last long, but it was exciting while it lasted. Andre Petrosky, poor guy, he landed 0 strikes in this fight. And that's something you never want to see. I think the last time I saw someone land 0 strikes in a fight was, I don't know, maybe CM Punk's in his first fight against Mickey Gall, which Mickey Gall was obviously afraid of the stand-up of CM Punk. I think we can all admit. That's why I instantly shot for the double leg. So, jumping into more serious matters. Andre Petrosky, self-proclaimed best wrestler in the middleweight. He didn't even shoot for a takedown. He didn't have time to. He ate 6 strikes, and that's all she wrote, folks. As Joe Rogan would say, the lights go out in Georgia. I hated it. You hated it. Your mom's neighbor hated it. Everybody hated to see it, except for fucking Nano over here, who's smiling his way to the bank. It sucked to see. Personally, I think Michel Pereira is... Not only does he look like the villain from Undisputed 3, I'm not talking about the UFC game. I'm talking about the movie with Yuri Boyka. This guy, I've seen him act like a villain. Like in his fight against Tristan Connolly and other people. He gets people knocked down. He does front flips and back flips. Half the time, accidentally kicks them in their dick. It's not a good look. It's not a good feel. It's not a good vibe. It's not what's hot in the streets. It's not what the kids are doing. So again, did I love the performance? Absolutely. Did I love who got the performance? Nah, not really. But I did my shot, and that's okay. So moving into what should be next for this young man, he's a middleweight now, guys. Love it or hate it, this is where he's at. And I think he's actually found a true home. Hopefully he can continue to make weight here and not be just a massive weight bully. Now, what do I think his middleweight career holds? Do I think he can beat the Sean Stricklands, Israel Adesanya's, DDPs, Araba Dahidakers of the world, as Paulo Secret Juice Costa would say? I don't. But I think it's a fun match for a Chris Curtis. I think it's a fun match for an Andre Muniz. I think it's an even funner match for a Paul Craig.
Whoa, I love it all. Sign me up.
Like, those are my 3 names that come to mind for him. I'm not sure if you have any names on the tip of your tongue for that one, but at this point, I've spent about 8 times as long talking about the fight as the fucking fight itself lasted. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to you, brother.
Nah, man. I mean, I think we, like you said, maybe we both can move along here. It didn't take much. We've covered 10x what the fight was lengthwise. But yeah, man, I agree with you. I think any of those 3 names would be solid. Sign me up.
Sorry, I'm glad I was on mute. I was like hyena laughing at Mad Max Meridian's chat comment here. He said, Barf City, population, your boy. I hedged, but damn. Yeah, man. Yeah, same vibes. Same vibes, brother. Yeah. Shit. Another banger in the chat here from Mad Max. In the remake of Deuce Bigelow, Anik is playing Deuce, and Michelle is playing the original Gigolo. I don't think I've actually ever heard a better comparison. That's incredible. I'm here for it. Actually, the only thing that I could say would make it better, you know what? I'm gonna do you one better, Mad Max. I'm gonna say if they remake Deuce Bigelow, Mel Gigolo, Michelle is definitely playing the original Gigolo. But Ariel Helwani is playing Deuce. Come on.
Ariel? Okay. Yeah, I can see it.
I think John would be too powerful. He'd be like, and now is the time that we're going to have sex. Like, it just, it's too good.
Here we go.
Here we go. Wait, no, is that Anik? No, that's.
I guess that could
Goldie.
be Goldberg, huh? Uh-oh.
That's Goldie.
That is Goldie.
Yeah. Here we go. Anik would be better in Eddie Griffin's role. Oh my God.
He would be. Yes.
The only problem with that would be that I think maybe the audience would think that Anik and Helwani were like brothers from different Bizarro universes. All right, I'm gonna stop while I'm ahead. Whoops! I got so excited I muted myself. Yeah, I don't want Anik to unfollow me on fucking Twitter. So moving ahead into the only fight that I thought was possibly as exciting or more exciting than good old C-Rod coming in against Africa's own Cameron Cyberman. Jonathan Martinez coming in against Adrian Yanez. Now, we gotta make sure we say this right, Nano. Okay, it's not Yanez anymore; it's Yanez, and he actually changed the pronunciation of this for his child because this is the original way that it was pronounced in their cultural history. So it's no longer Adrian Yanez. It is Adrian Yanez. And we will pronounce it as such. Now, that being said, Nano, I'll let you take the lead on this one, brother. Tell us how you felt.
Well, I already poured up my shot, so I'll happily end with the shot here that I have to take. A little piece of humble pie, we like to call it around here. But yeah, man, Adrian Yanez simply did not have an answer for the leg kicks and the kickboxer that this Jonathan Martinez is. This dude's an absolute dog. Okay, there's nothing around, no ifs, ands, or buts. The dude earned my respect. I mean, those leg kicks were absolutely filthy, brother. We're talking about 29 out of 41 leg kicks landed over those. Yeah. Oh, yeah. In 2.5 rounds, this guy was just destroying Adrian's leg. In the first round, he already knew it was compromised. All it takes is one good calf kick. But again, I knew that was going to be the issue. I was just hoping Adrian was going to be able to make some adjustments, whether it was just trying to check some of them, or like he did at times, getting in and out of range, or just freaking throwing a few of your own. You landed one, but brother, if you're going to eat one, at least give one back or something. You fake it till you make it. We know you're a great boxer. We know you have hands, but hey, you got to adapt. You got to evolve a little bit. I wish I would have seen something different, whether it's some Muay Thai, whether it's some kickboxing, or just frankly better offense. I mean, he had zero defense as well. I mean, it was tough. It was a tough outing. I got to eat my words here. I'm going to take my shot here in a second, but end it with, hey, Jonathan Martinez is no freaking joke. This dude is a dog. He's somebody that has definitely made a name for himself. And if I'm being honest, man, I mean, I'm looking at this division, which, again, a lot of dogs here. But I like a Song Yadong at 7 there. Maybe you throw him up to the Wolves and see if he could sink or swim. What do you think, brother? I should say the Shark Tank. The sink or swim efforts would have been better with that. So I'm going to go with throw him in the Shark Tank, see if he can sink or swim.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you right now, I'm getting super excited, guys. I'm getting super excited about this prospect in Jonathan motherfreaking Martinez, the Dragon. Jonathan Martinez, guys. He's an absolute just man. Okay. I don't think there's even a better word for it, guys. Like, he is a stud. I will agree with exactly what Mad Max Meridian said. Again, bringing the fire in the fucking chat here. Marvin Manhuef versus Robbie Lawler vibes minus the comeback. If you haven't seen that fight, again, sign up for the 7-day trial of UFC Fight Pass. We are not sponsored by them. It's just a great fucking service to have if you're a fight fan, I'll be honest. Watch that fight. It's a fantastic fight. Fun fact, I think it was last week or week before, they were teaching us inside low kicks in our Muay Thai class, because been going to the basic beginners Muay Thai classes with Mary. She just got into MMA, or as far as training goes, so she's learning how to throw these new things, right? And we're throwing the inside low kick, and the coach basically says, like, there's a couple ways you can absorb this, one of which, the best way in my opinion, is to let your leg loosely hang and let it kick up when you absorb the kick. And you think about it, and as a casual fan, you're watching and you're like, man, Marvin's tearing this motherfucker's legs up. Every time he lands, his legs like whoosh, whoosh, just flying off. Like, if it's a video game, his legs flying off the fucking screen, bro. It's disappearing. He's shooting that shit up so far. But he's alleviating the pressure. It's like the way the Diaz brothers, one of my favorite attributes of Nate or Nick Diaz, and especially their older fights, and even in Nate Diaz versus Jake Paul, I saw it happening a fucking number of times, pretty much 1 for 1. Every time Jake would throw and land a strike, I would see this happen. So when a strike lands, instead of it just hitting, they turn with it. So that way it rolls off to an extent, and they don't absorb the full heat of the punch. It's more like they're absorbing anywhere from 10 to 40% of the punch versus 90 to 100% of the punch. So again, absolutely incredible. Mad Max Meridian said a floating front. We called it back in the Dizzy when I did a little scrap it. So love that. The floating front is definitely a great call. You have the floating front or the weighted front, depending on what you have. I've heard it called the floating front as well. Love that you've heard that term. So the floating front is when you're absorbing an inside leg kick. The weighted front is, or the heavy front, is when you're absorbing a outside leg kick. So you want to absorb the front. Otherwise known, if you're DC at AKA, he called it the lazy man check. So The way DC put it, and I thought it was perfect, is he's like, look, it takes a real long time to get the muscle memory to lift your leg off the line like that and actually check a kick. So you do the lazy man check. And we're all, what the fuck is that? And he's all, well, you put all your body weight on the front leg and you let them eat into that leg, but you're tensing up the muscle. So it's almost like rubber. Their leg bounces off. It also sets them up to eat a shot. So if you're willing to eat that shot, it's going to hurt a little bit, but it's not going to hurt like maybe 50% as much as it should hurt if you didn't tense up and lean your leg into it. You eat that shot, wow, and then you fucking connect, son. So again, and yes, you're right, Mad Max. DC would call it that. So that's like, to my knowledge, that's what like most of the people call it an AKA though. But I'm sure DC started that shit. Let's be honest. Call a spade here on the MMA Anomaly No Filter show. So again, you can do a couple different things. So in that Marvin Manoa fight, he was letting his leg just launch off the line, and it looked aesthetically like Manoa was murdering him. Let's just, again, be honest. And then, of course, we all know how that ended if we've seen the fight. Lawler dipped and then, boom, landed the overhand right, if I remember correctly, knocked him out. I think it broke his nose. You saw the blood gushing out as he hit the ground. And it was just a one-shot game changer. So this fight was exactly like that, minus the comeback. And one other thing, Mad Max, there was one other thing that was big, mainly different. Now, I love Adrian Yanez. I'm actually an Adrian Yanez fanboy. That being said, he simply didn't do things right in this fight. I don't want to jump on the bandwagon of people that are hating on him, saying he didn't train appropriately for this fight. He didn't game plan for the leg kicks. But I mean, here's the thing: if you know you are going to absorb leg kicks in a fight, you have to learn some form of either leg checking, lazy checking, or floating leg, right? Like, you got to know at least the basic versions of that. If you can't check and get your leg off the center line or up for that matter, and tense that kind of shin bone to make it just sword versus sword, which if you haven't done that, it fucking sucks. It's the worst thing in the world. I would rather be leg kicked than go bone to bone and just check like that. It's the worst feeling in the world. He didn't do any of it. He just ate the leg kicks. And it was bad, right? Like, if he would have had the floating leg, I truly think that he would have been able to take some of the steam off those kicks. But the biggest issue when you're going against someone like Jonathan the Dragon Martinez is, like a dragon, you know, dragons, they can come at you from land or they can fly. And this man, he's no different. He can come at you high, he can come at you low, he can come at you in between. He can hit the body, he can hit the head. And more importantly, even when he's hitting the leg, think about this, Nano. There are 8 points of contact just in leg kicks. So for a casual fan, they think, well, if he's only going to go after the legs, I only have to worry about blocking one thing. No, son. 8. You have to worry about blocking fucking 8 things, okay? Boom, outside leg kick. Boom, inside leg kick. Outside leg calf kick. Inside leg calf kick. Now all 4 of those for the lead leg. There's 8 different things you have to worry about blocking. So it's sensory overload when you have someone that's able to efficiently target and just fire off shots to any of those 8 targets. Because for a conventional fighter, or as you like to hear me say, like a meat and potatoes style striker, they're simply not doing that. At best, there's 2 points of contact for leg kicks for a rudimentary style striker. And that's your base outside leg kick and your base lead leg outside kick. Because they're just not technical enough to go inside. And they're also not smart enough, or not I don't want to say not smart enough, but not experienced or tenured enough to go to the calves. So I truly think that Jonathan Martinez is one of those guys that every single person in the division should wholeheartedly be afraid of and worried about. And again, I say this with all due respect, all the way up to the very, very top of this division. I think he is potentially the worst matchup in the entire UFC for Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley's been beaten by what? A leg kick. Yeah. Who has the best leg kicks in the whole fucking division? That guy.
Right now, man, he is definitely up there. That guy is definitely up there.
I'll do you one better. Like underneath him, Aljamain Sterling. Worst matchup for him? I would say Jonathan Martinez. Jonathan Martinez has stellar wrestling negation. We've seen it happen. We've seen him stuff takedowns. And what makes it extremely fucking hard to land strikes as an unorthodox striker or land takedowns? Losing your legs. So
facts.
Let's see what Mad Max said here in the chat. The longer it gets from Saturday, the more I'm slowly becoming convinced he underestimated them. He said in interviews they prepped for it, but the complete lack of addressing them for the first few makes me think he felt it would be a non-issue. I could be completely wrong on this take. No, I actually think you're completely right on this take, Mad Max, as usual. I think you're right on the money here. Yeah, I mean, if that fact were a nail, I think you would have drove that nail in one hit with the hammer, my guy. Right on the money. So before we move forward in this fight, what do you think before I take the steam here? Do you have a name on the tip of your tongue here for the Dragon?
I think I mentioned Yadong Song, maybe. He's ranked 7. And, that's a young, talented fighter who is going to be willing to trade off with the Jonathan Martinez. I think stylistically it'd be really, really fun. Yadong hasn't fought since April, I believe. But again, I mean, anybody in this top 10, man, is super talented. Anybody in the top 15 will be fun. He just beat Giannis, obviously, though. And then I think he, was willing to go down ranking previously here to fight Adrian. Maybe you reward him by allowing him to face someone that is above him. I mean, Pedro Munez coming off the loss, Dom, Cruz. I mean, you just would be fun stylistically, but that'd be tough to watch. I mean, Rob Font, I think he's booked, or no, well, he just recently lost. I guess Rob Font even potentially, but my initial thought, Song Yadong at 7, a little bit of a jump, but that'd be a fun one stylistically, and I think he earned it. Jonathan Martinez, that is.
I agree. I definitely agree. I'm gonna be honest. I might have to ban Mad Max Meridian from the fucking chat. People are gonna think I'm just copying what he says in the chat, dude. Like, I swear to God, I have this written down. I was gonna say Jan. I think Peter Yan would actually be the best matchup for him, and I know that this fucking guy, Mad Max Meridian, calling him out, man. He said it in the chat. Great call, my guy. And I know, again, this is a huge jump for him. He's sitting at number 11. He already jumped up 2 notches. He was sitting halfway at number 13 before this fight, but he's gone up to number 11. And I think, why not pole vault this fucking guy? You've heard me numerous episodes, guys, say I hate the Icarus effect. I think it's the worst thing you can do to a fighter, but I think it's appropriate. I think it's apropos, as they say, to just give this guy a fucking pole vault and let him launch himself up against number 5, Peter No Mercy Yan. And there's multiple reasons for this, guys. It's not just one, not just 2, not just 3. It's a fucking myriad of reasons. But I'll go ahead and list some off for you, just because I know you're here to listen. So, Peter No Mercy Yan fighting out of Yekaterinburg, Russia. I know I butchered the fuck out of that, and that's okay. He fights out of Archangel Michael Club. Crazy name for a gym. Just got to go ahead and say that. Now, why do I think this is a great matchup, though? That's what you're here for. You're here for the juice, right? Not the rind. So, going to give you some juice. This man's sitting at number 5, even though he's coming off of 3 back-to-back losses. Aljamain Sterling, Sean O'Malley, Merab Dvalishvili, all 3 beat him. All 3 decision wins. Now, to me, I know decision wins aren't exciting. They're not sexy. They're not what's hot in the streets. They're not what the kids are doing. Everybody wants a fast finish, okay? Unless you're in bed, and that's okay. But here's the thing. In my humble opinion, when you get the long finish, you go to the decision, you have 3 people who see the fight differently say, yep, no doubt about it. This guy destroyed you. I think that's more demeaning, and that's a bigger victory. So this man's coming off of 3 back-to-back losses like that, okay, to Merab, Sean, and Aljamain. And he's sitting at number 5, okay? In his last 7 fights, the man has 3 wins. 1 over Jose Aldo, retired. 1 over Uriah Faber, retired. And 1 over Corey Sandhagen. Granted, that's a fire win. That's a fire fucking win. I just don't think he won that fucking fight. I thought the judges got it wrong. I think there's a problem with MMA judging. But that's going to be a different episode. So, coming off 3 back-to-back decision losses, that's reason number 1. Reason number 2, stylistically, these 2 gentlemen make a hell of a fucking fight. You got one man who fights in a traditional Muay Thai style fighting, The only difference from a traditional Muay Thai style of fighting is he's very, 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 very flat-footed compared to most traditional Muay Thai strikers. Most traditional Muay Thai strikers are like bouncy. They like to do what like Tomas Coach Tomas Dion from AKA gave me the best description of this, like why Muay Thai fighters bounce their lead leg. And some of them, the better ones, might I say, do it in a more, dare I say, crazy, velocity-filled manner, like bounce, 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 versus bounce, bounce. And the way he put it is this. So if that lead leg is flat, it's harder to drive it up. And I know you're thinking, like, what's the difference in it being flat versus it bouncing and then going flat and then jumping up? And he said, if you have a bouncy ball, like a rubber ball, and Nano, feel free to play along here and answer, because I don't know if I've told you this one. If you have a bouncy ball and you let it go, what happens?
It'll hit off the ground, bounce back up a little bit.
Right. It'll hit off the ground, bounce up. That's a logical answer. Now, what happens if that same bouncy ball, instead of just letting it go, you slam it into the ground?
It'll have a lot more velocity. That thing will shoot up to the ground, to the sky, to the moon,
or to a fucking rib cage. If it's a kick. So,
oh yeah, right on the sternum.
So that's the point behind that lead bouncy leg, right? You want it to bounce and then boom, just snap around. So it also makes it hard to catch timing, etc., things like that. Peter Yan doesn't do that. In fact, I would venture to say Jonathan Martinez does that more than Peter Yan does, even though Peter Yan is the Muay Thai traditional style fighter. I would say the weirdest thing about Jonathan Martinez is this. He fights like a boxer from a video game that you added leg kicks to. It's just weird. Like, he doesn't fight like a traditional Thai fighter. He doesn't fight he fights, again, more like a traditional boxer, but his leg kicks are fucking gross. Like, I can't think of a better word for them. They're disgusting. They're disgusting. And he can choose the kind of momentum in them. He can choose the speed and power in them. He can hit you with like 3 of them just, and then right when you least expect it, he hits you with that fucking anime, like calls out the name of his finisher move and you're just done, dude. Like, it's fucking wild. We saw it happen on Saturday. So I want to see what happens to the flat-footed Peter Yan when he's throwing these heavy strikes like he did against Uriah Faber, like he did against Jose Aldo. When someone's chewing his legs up and just chopping the trees like they're fucking Abraham Lincoln, or was it George Washington? I don't know. One of those presidents. Either way, the man's got an axe for a leg and he's chopping those trees. Do you like that fight?
I love it, brother. I love it. I like it a lot. It's a good one, brother. Like great breakdown.
So, all right, moving into the next one here. And I got to say, guys, I don't know if you remember or if you tuned in last week, but if you didn't, make sure you check out the YouTube or the Twitch, wherever your preference is, or Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever your preference is.
We're everywhere.
Go ahead and listen to the last episode. I literally said that was going to be what happened. I said that he was going to chew the legs up, chop the trees, and that it was going to ultimately slow down the boxing onslaught of Yanez, and that he wouldn't know what to do. I think pretty much all those fucking things came to fruition. I don't quote me on this, but I may or may not have even said that I thought he might get a fucking leg kick stoppage. I'm like 90% sure I did say that last episode, but I digress. Nano already did his shot, so that's all she wrote. Moving into the next one, we had Jennifer Maia coming in against Vivian Araujo. And again, I knew Vivian Araujo had trouble against lesser opponents in the past. I don't want to say lesser opponents, different opponents in the past. We know that she had that loss to Amanda Ribas. We know she had that loss to Caitlin Chukagian. But as I pointed out before, guys, she got the win over Andrea KGB Lee. And I thought Lee is not better, but about the same level of skill as Jennifer Maia, just a different kind of trajectory or vertical of where that skill lies. So this fight went pretty much exactly as I thought it would. I thought Vivian Araujo would end up being the fresher gal. She did land less significant strikes in this fight. And I mean, this one could have gone either way as far as decisions go, but I still actually thought the judges got this one right for a change. I thought Viviane Araujo did just enough to win the fight. Would have been happy if she did a little bit more, but again, I digress. I thought the judges got this one right. Nano, did this one deliver on your terms, or what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it as a co-main event, it was maybe a little underwhelming. Did I expect fireworks? It's tough to say in women's mixed martial arts. You never really know what kind of fight you're going to get. You know, if they're going to be out there willing to exchange, then sometimes it can be potential fight of the night every time. 60% of the time it works every time, essentially. But in this case, yeah, I wasn't expecting too much, but I would say Viviane Araujo did look better. The numbers may not certainly suggest that, but I do think the control time, the clinch time, and her ability to take her down 2 out of the 6 attempts, just a little bit more of a well-rounded showing by Araujo. But yeah, I think she did just enough. And like we were mentioning, going into this fight, she's a little bit younger, a little bit more explosive, and just looked a bit stronger than Jennifer Maia.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. If this fight taught me anything, it taught me 2 things. It taught me that Viviane Araujo has a hell of a gas tank, and that, I mean, I should probably do the dictionary pronunciation breakdowns for UFC names.
I was wondering how long that was, but that was good. It was a good laugh.
I literally had to hit the stop button. I don't know how long that actual sound clip is. But it did feel like it was going on for a while. What's next for Viviane Araujo? Manowitz. This is a great fight for her. I feel like beating Jennifer Maia is a hell of a name in the women's flyweight division, in my humble opinion here. And I think that what's next for her is, honestly, there's a lot on the table. Jennifer Maia, before this fight, was sitting at number 9. They essentially swapped places. Vivi Araujo was sitting at number 11. Now they are swapped. So Vivi is at 11, or at number 9, and then Jennifer Maia is at 11. What do I think should be next for her? There's a couple of names that I think make a lot of sense for her. As far as this specific division. Now, the question is, are they already matched up in fights, etc.? There's one woman that I think is not matched up in a fight that I don't think would say no to fighting down a couple rankings, and that's Maycee Barber. I was someone that used to talk crap about Maycee Barber, not because I didn't like her, not because I didn't like her fight style, and I'm not jumping on the train because I met her in person at Fight Week and she was super sweet. Maybe a little bit. I mean, that definitely helps. But being completely honest, the only reason I didn't like her is because she went by the future. She said her goal in the UFC was to get the belt at a younger age than John Jones, blah, 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 blah. No. Gonna go back to the good old glory days when we first met each other. The Yelp San Francisco office. There's something that I was taught by one of my sales managers that I honestly don't agree with her methods. She's a fucking beast as a sales manager. But one of the things that she taught me that still sticks with me to this day, that I know I had to have told you at least 5 times on fucking Bart, is this. Don't look out the window at others because you'll only be jealous. Instead, look in the mirror at yourself and focus on growing 1% better every day. Right? Because if you look outside the mirror, you'll always find reasons to get upset. If you look if you look out the window, you'll always find reasons to get upset. If you look in the mirror, you will just find reasons to better yourself. So Maycee Barber, she was looking out the window. She was looking at John Jones. She was looking at this person, and she rushed things as a result of that, right? Like we saw her take fights too early in her career. Roxanne Modafferi, Alexa fucking Grasso in 2021. Maybe a bit too fast there, honey bunny. So slow down a little bit, and you will probably, I don't know, rack up a 5-fight win streak over Miranda Maverick, Montana De La Rosa, Jessica Evil Eye, Andrea KGB Lee, and I don't know, Amanda Ribas, who's up on the up and up. So again, I think Vivian Araujo versus Macy the Future Barber is a very, very fun matchup. And if for whatever reason you don't love that one, I think Lucky Lauren Murphy probably takes the fight. What you got, Nano?
You just ended with one of my names. There was Lauren Lucky Murphy. At 40 years old, she's on the tail end of her career there, but she does have that number 7 name next to her. I do think that Vivian Araujo, that'd be a fun matchup at 36 years old. Makes sense. But honestly, Mad Max here, not a bad idea throwing in a little Tracy Cortez in the chat. That could be a fun one. Leave the Waffle House, the waitress alone, Lauren Murphy. Fair enough. What do you think, brother? What are some names that you're thinking?
I'm just gonna say that a lot of people throw that out there. Like they call Lucky Lauren Murphy the Waffle House waitress. Like that's an insult, bro. You find me one person that doesn't like Waffle House, and I'll find you a fucking liar.
I mean, have you not watched World Star or TikTok? You see all the crazy stuff that's going down at a Waffle House? I'm sure she learned a lot there.
Brother, fun fact, for all you folks in the chat, just so you know what kind of redneck I am, all right? I grew up in the ghetto parts of Louisiana. You know what I would do at a Waffle House? Son, I'd go up in that bitch, and I'd put 4 quarters in the jukebox, and I'd choose at least 2 NSYNC songs just to see what people reacted like.
No way.
Facts!
Which ones would you do?
I mean, I want you back.
Everybody.
It's gonna be me.
Oh, there you go.
Honestly, any of the NSYNC songs, I just put them on, bro.
Rock your body.
Well, I mean, that's Backstreet Boys, first of all. I'm not trying to get us canceled.
Shit.
It literally is Backstreet's back. All right. Come on, bro. Like, if Amy was listening right now, bro, she would have just fucking disowned you for at least a day.
I'm disappointed in myself. It's gonna be May. Obviously, the song is just gonna be May. God damn it!
No, I'm not even mad. I'm just disappointed.
You might be hurt,
Babe. It ain't no lie. Send him more come and go. I remember you told me. You come for the MMA breakdowns, but you stay for the lyricizing and the harmonizing and the boy banding.
Yes.
So, Jennifer Maia versus Vivian Araujo was obviously a very fun fight. So fun that it made us belt out in songs. But the next fight may have been fun enough to make us break out and fucking dance to go with the song. I'll be completely honest with you guys. We had a day on Saturday. All right, we had a few things to do. Nephew involved. We had some good times. We ended up being in transit during the main event. Not gonna lie to you. I did go back and rewatch it for breakdown purposes. Don't you fucking worry your pretty little face. No, I see you over there fucking basting the turkey. So don't you worry your pretty little face. All right. I was watching this fight on my little cellular device when we were in transit. And, man, I saw Sadiq Youssef. To my knowledge, he knocked out Edson Barbosa. He knocked him out. And then we lost service. And I was like, well, fight's over. That's pretty much all she wrote. He just got knocked the fuck out. And then service came back in. And here's Edson surviving in like the most Edson way. Like he was rocking and moving with it while eating fucking big shots. The same way that he was in that fight against Tony Ferguson. And man, like the heart was just racing. It was bad. I could feel the intensity in the crowd. And then the second round came. And then the third round came. And then the fourth round came. And I'm like, what happened? Sadiq had him. Like, he was still landing big shots. Do not make any mistake. Like, Sadiq still outlanded him across the entirety of the fight. He landed 206 to 178 in strikes. He even outlanded him in significant strikes, folks. 178 to 164. But I'll be goddamn if he didn't turn Edson Barbosa into... I'm not going to say he turned Edson into a wrestler, because I just can't do it. Edson is a legend. Can't do it. He didn't turn Edson into a wrestler. Didn't happen. But he did turn him into a survivor. That's
I'm a survivor.
Yeah, he turned him into a fucking survivor. He made it, and I mean, he survived the first round, and then across the entirety of the rest of the fight, that boy made him work. He put Sadiq Youssef to work, and I was not mad to see it. But Nanu, dude, what were your thoughts? Like, did you, before you even break down the fight, let's start slow here. Okay, let's do a slow burn. Did you think Edson was going to make it out of that first round?
No, I thought it was very shocking that he made it out of there. It was as close as you can get. He was knocking on heaven's doors because he got put down, and Sadiq Youssef, man, he tried to jump on him, but I believe it was Herb Dean reffing, if I'm not mistaken. He gave him every chance that he possibly could, Edson that is, to recover. And as soon as he got himself off the wall and back towards the center of the octagon, he did recover really quickly. So I do got to give Edson props. He's been in there with the who's. I don't care how old you get, someone like Sadiq who looks strong, obviously just may not have that kind of power that, Edson was expecting, or at least maybe once he got rocked a little bit, knew, okay, I need to turn it up a notch. I ain't going out like this. And ever since then, man, he really poured it on him. Like you said, I mean, the numbers look a bit wonky, but I think it is because of how dominant Sadiq did look in that first round, which you can argue was 10-8. But then after that, I mean, Edson really starts to steal the show and runs away with it. He even drops Sadiq, I believe it was the third or fourth. I'm forgetting. I was just watching it earlier today. But either way, I mean, that was a huge difference in the fight. And that is a 10-8 in my opinion for Edson Barbosa. So you can't help but score it in the way that most of the judges saw it, which was unanimously Edson, man, who's defying Father Time, looked sharp, man. I'd be curious to hear what he hears next for him, because a lot of great names here in the division. Featherweight stacked. You saw a few of them showcased earlier in the fight card. But I'm curious to hear, man. I mean, it's a murderer's row. I don't know what you do with Edson now, man. He really put himself in the conversation, though. What are your thoughts, brother?
So yeah, just gonna go ahead and address the chat here. Mad Max said, "Man, that shit was wild." Facts. He also said, literally typed out to you, "This is hard to watch in between the first and second round." Then waited to hit send. I remember seeing that message pop up in the DMs, and I agree, it was fucking hard to watch. I'm just again gonna wrap myself out here and call a spade here. When I saw that message pop up, I opened the fight up again because again, I lost service for like a solid minute, and I thought that the fight had ended. So I just was like, all right, well, I don't want to hear the post-fight speech. Like, I'll watch it later. I'm sad. And then I saw that message pop out. I was like, whoa, what? It's still going? So turned it back on, and I'll be damned. I had to rewatch it because, man, missed a lot of action. So crazy thing here is first round, 42 versus 13 in strikes landed. Okay? Obviously, Edson got smoked. Now, here's something that a lot of people don't realize. Don't look at it home. Okay, you just see one guy getting pelted, one guy not. Both men landed 52% of their strikes thrown in that round. Yeah, that's a fun fact. Okay, so Edson only threw 25 strikes, but he landed 13 of them. Sadiq threw 80 and landed 42 of them. So again, testimony to grit for sure, Mad Max in the chat. 52% to 52%. Now, the next round, I actually had Sadiq winning the second round as well. He landed 43 of 80 of his total strikes compared to 33 of 67. And then as far as significant strikes landed, it was 42 to 31. Across round 3, 4, and 5, though, Edson showed his championship material and his veteran mettle in coming back, taking over, and showing that he's an absolute legend of the game, and he's still a stud and someone to be trifled with, or no one to be trifled with, I should say. So in round 3, 32 to 29 significant strikes landed, 42 to 29 total. Round 4, 48 to 39 total, 47 to 35 significant. Round 5, 41 to 30 significant, 41 to 40 total. So as the fight went on, no matter whether it was significant or total strikes, Edson Barbosa was getting stronger and stronger and stronger, like a fucking Key and Peele skit, folks. the man was pouring it on, and I was there for it. I love to see it. Edson Barboza is a legend of the sport. As Nano said so eloquently, the division is wide the fuck open. Edson Barboza is sitting heftily at number 11 now. I believe we were just now talking about someone else that switched number 11 with their opponent. So again, that was Jonathan Martinez. Edson Barboza switched places with his opponent to an extent. Sadiq is now number 12, Edson number 11. So let's talk about who's sitting above him and who makes sense for him to fight. Not everybody is willing to fight down. I think we'd have to find an up-and-coming name that it would make sense for them to fight a legend in Edson Barboza. There's only one name that comes to mind, and he's sitting a few ranks ahead of Edson. And I think it'd be a fucking very fun match of kick versus kick. You already know I'm talking about the man who's got a kick named after him. Giga Chikadze!
That is spicy. I like it a lot.
Tell us who you got on the tip of your tongue, Nano, while I got a shot to take. Because you know I bet on the young gun to get it done. Unfortunately.
Boy. I know it. It happens. Happens to the best of us. And yeah, Edson's sitting at 11 now. Giga is a great name. I mean, it is tough to make an argument against that one. I would say the only other one that I'm thinking of, and it's really just because I haven't seen him fighting so gosh darn long, but it's my boy Calvin Kattar. I mean, come on, man. He hasn't fought since October 2022. It's about a year off, brother. With this in mind, I mean, obviously Edson just fought, so he needs a few months, but get back on the card, man. Love to see it. Maybe put him up there in UFC 300. Salud to you, Olin. But yeah, man, Edson Barboza was able to turn back the father time here. Why not put him up against somebody who is a veteran in the game? But shoot, man, I mean, this guy's a dog. Calvin Kattar. Sign me up for that violence right now.
Man, I'm not mad at Calvin Kattar. That's a fun name I didn't actually think of. Kind of upset I didn't think of that one. Calvin Cater's a good one. The only other name I had on my list was Josh Emmett ? I actually didn't even think to look up if Josh Emmett has anything scheduled. Does he? Do you know? Let's see.
I feel like I've heard his name recently, but
no, he does not. Not since the loss to Ilya.
Okay.
In June.
Nice.
So
and he's 38.
I think he's ready.
Yeah, I think that's a good one.
Yeah. I'm really not mad at the one that you said either, though. I think that Calvin Kattar's a really fun fight. I think it'd be a boxer's delight in that fight. Edson Barboza has really been working on his boxing. It's funny how Edson Barboza and Jose Aldo had very different styles, but similar styles. And they also have very different trajectories, but similar trajectories. Like, both heavy kickers, very different style of kicks. Both started getting better at boxing around the same time. It's just interesting. Both Brazilian. Fun fact.
Same, but different.
Yeah, same, but different. But still the same, but different. So, that being said, guys, we obviously did not hit all of our bets here. We've definitely seen better days, that's for sure. Nano, I want to say yours was pretty bad. Let's see.
I don't think that's the one. Let's see.
Let me get it to loop here.
I know Yanez really is the one that did me in.
Oh, nope. That's an old one there. Boom, boom, boom. Well, I don't know what happened here. I thought I had them.
I can pull it up here as well.
Either way.
DraftKings make me log in.
Oh, you know what? Here it is. Boom. Nano's picks. Yeah, you had Chris Gutierrez, Cameron Simon, and Adrian Yanez. So Cameron Simon lost. Adrian
1 for 3.
Yanez lost. And Chris Gutierrez. If it makes you feel any better, the only difference is you went heavy bet with the plus 467 parlay, and I went safer, plus money all around. But Africa's very own Cameron Simon lost it. Irina Alexeyeva lost it. One of my favorite graphics I've put together here. And Vivian Araujo, she got it. She got her done. We love to see that. So, again, definitely not the best kind of pacing that we've ever seen here. But 1.5 units in, 0.68 units back. Not the best week, but not a total wash. We got some money back, and we're still playing with plus money from that Errol Spence Jr. bet that we made what feels like a fucking eternity ago in bets. But you know what? Sometimes when you make bets, it makes you want to dance. And, other times when you make bets, it makes you want to say, what the fuck? And that's just the way the game goes. But this week, we're hoping it's going to be another week of dancing here, guys. We're really hoping. So that being said, we failed you guys. So we have one last shot to do. And then we're going to go over something that's worth doing. Honestly, no shots over unless they're just shots of tears for anybody that spent money on the fucking card. We're going to go ahead and talk about Dylan Dennis versus Logan Paul. If you tune out, we won't be mad. But cheers to better decisions this week on tomorrow's episode.
Let's go.
Where was yours, Nano? Did you already do it?
I did mine when you were talking. I'll do another baby one though, because I did feel bad watching you do it.
Oh, you don't have to, because then I'll feel bad watching you do it.
Oh
my guy,
that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Fucking guy.
It was a baby one. It was a baby one.
Do one off air. My bottle I grabbed is empty.
There we go.
So, probably why I prefaced not worth doing a shot over Logan Paul. That being said, the WWE star came out, and I mean, I don't even know if you want to call it fighting Dylan Dennis or even boxing Dylan Dennis, but Dylan Dennis versus Logan Paul was a thing that happened. They actually have CompuBox stats on it, which is that's the thing. To my knowledge, Dylan Dennis had thrown 9 strikes going into the 5th round.
What?
Or landed 9 strikes. Yeah, let's see here. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, he landed 9 strikes in the first 4 rounds.
Jeez.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, like, that's just sad.
Yeah, as a boxing fan, it was hard to watch. It was fun. The anticipation, the build up about it all was really fun, but the actuality and the skill, it just wasn't there. And Dylan just had no business being in there. I don't know why he decided not to throw anything. But Logan, man, I mean, he looks athletic. He looked decent chasing Dylan around there. And the way it ended was perfectly fitting. I'm actually pretty excited about that. So all around, man, it was entertaining. Again, I was on vacation, so I had to watch all this after the fact. But yeah, good build up, good way to promote things. Maybe the boxing community can take that away from it. But in terms of skills, wasn't that high level, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I think in terms of skill, it definitely wasn't that competitive. In totality, Dennis landed 16 punches out of 70 thrown, and Paul landed 108 out of 330 thrown. So he essentially threw, like 6 times the amount of punches as Dennis. And, I mean, he landed 8 times the amount of punches or 7 times the amount of punches. So, solid. Total jabs. 4 from Dylan Dennis, 31 from Paul. That should pretty much tell you everything you need to know about the fight. Dylan Dennis was very much fighting like somebody who saw that Drake placed an $850,000 bet on him to be knocked out and wanted to make Drake lose money for betting against him, even though they had met in person a couple times. So it very much felt like he was fighting not to lose or boxing not to lose rather than fighting to win. I agree with Mad Max Meridian. Where's a good old lynch mob when you need one? Yeah, 100%. He also said Evloev and Kadar Giga finished him, so I don't know if he will want the rematch. I don't hate Emmett either. Love that. I hate the Evloev fight. Just going to call a spade a spade. Don't like that. I don't like that for him at all. Evloev is just a bad style matchup for him. I do think trajectory-wise and where they are as far as like where their stars lie in the sky makes sense. As a fight fan, I don't want to see it. I think it burns out one of two rising stars, and it doesn't make sense for the UFC to make money. That's just me going into like my sales and marketing brain from like work. So like I wouldn't want to burn out a cash cow when I know that like I can have them each fight different people and keep making me a lot of money. So I don't want to have Evloev fight against Jonathan Martinez. Doesn't make sense to me. Or sorry, I don't want to have him fight against Edson Barboza. It just I don't know, dude. Anyways, Dylan Dennis is the person we're roasting right now. The man landed 12 power punches out of 44 thrown, 77 by way of Paul out of 172 thrown. He had his moments. I will say this boxing match was fairly one-way traffic. Again, it was one man fighting to win, one man fighting not to lose. But that being said, the fact that this was a co-main event was almost as atrocious as the fact that Vivian Araujo versus Jennifer Maia was the co-main event instead of Jonathan Martinez and Adrian Yanez. I think we can all agree that KSI Tommy Fury was the most unwatchable boxing match in the history of boxing matches. Guys and gals and fight fans of all shapes, sizes, and sexes, if you are watching the video version of this while Nano gives his breakdown of KSI versus Tommy Fury, I am going to go ahead and show you exactly what KSI thought boxing was. And for those of you that are listening to the audio only version, I'm going to go ahead and tell you it's jumping jacks.
I'm just enjoying this as much as y'all are, but this is hilarious to see. Yeah, it was definitely low level boxing. I mean, KSI, although he felt that he got robbed and he was supposed to win the decision, the jab landed a few times, but overall it just was lackluster. I mean, I'm glad I was on vacation. I'm glad I didn't have to spend the time actually watching it live. I was able to just go back, get some glimpses of it. I was mentioning how I'm glad I was on vacation because goodness gracious, that was just low level as it gets. KSI, although he felt like he got robbed and he, landed more jabs, really it was shit on shit, and they both stink. So I don't even care. Jake Paul is supposed to make an announcement. I hope he's not fighting Tommy Fury again. Do not want to see that at all. I don't even know who I want to see Jake fight at this point. It just, everything about it just has a distaste in my mouth now. Even though Jake looks solid as well, just something about it, it's kind of lost its luster to me.
I can't argue with that. I think it's definitely lost its kind of allure, its luster. So luckily there are people on Twitter. That's it. That's the tweet. There are people on Twitter. Great job. No, luckily there are people on Twitter that actually do the things that we don't want to do for us so that we don't have to do them. Now, luckily, one young man or woman on Twitter who goes by the name of Auredo, at AOUREDOO, they went back and rewatched KSI versus Tommy Fury, so we don't have to. And they did us all a huge favor, and they counted the number of hugs in the fight. Now, there were 76 hugs in total in this fight, which averages 13 hugs per round. Okay. I've known Nano for a very long time. I don't know that we've hugged that long in the last fucking 6 years. But it kind of makes me feel like we should, because people that are fighting each other are hugging this much, apparently. So
you got
KSI,
some catching up to do.
He set an official world record for 13 hugs per round on average, and that's pretty damn solid. I don't want to see the Jake Paul versus KSI fight if for one reason and one reason only. Jake Paul already has a 10-8 on him. Jake Paul fought Tommy Fury and he lost, and he just took it. KSI was kicking LED screens and crying and fucking blowing his nose like a 13-year-old, bro. That's a 10-8 round for Jake Paul. I'm so sorry for you. Jake has already won the fight. So again, for those just tuning in, 76 hugs in what was supposed to be a boxing match. Again, it was jumping jacks, jab cross from honestly, like one of the worst boxing stances I've ever seen. But to caveat and give KSI his flowers that are well deserved. Okay, combat sports fans. Arguably one of the best Conor McGregor impressions I've ever seen. I'm talking about featherweight Conor McGregor karate stance. He was doing the bouncing back and forth karate stance, jab cross, and he really thought that was going to land and do something, and it did. One shot actually hurt him, but man, I do agree with Mad Max Meridian here. Feed them both to Mike Perry in the same night. And I also got to say that like Salt Poppy and Slim, again, as Helwani says, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about these two because they were the fight of the night on that influencer card. They were the only two that actually showed true boxing skills. It's crazy to me that Helwani was on TV at a Buffalo Wild Wings doing commentary. Crazy to me. But I digress. It's the year 2023. Helwani is on Buffalo Wild Wings TVs. Again, Mad Max Meridian in the chat, speaking straight facts. Bro, easily fight of the night. Dude, if you didn't watch Salt Poppy versus Slimification, Slim Pickens, the Slimifier himself, do yourself a favor, bro. Go watch it. It was crazy. These guys were throwing nasty shots. Like one guy would throw a 1, 2, 3, and the other guy would throw a 1, 2, and then one guy got knocked out. And it was gross, and that was it. It was all over. Truly a fantastic fight. One for the ages. I thought Slim was incredible in that fight. I wasn't putting respect on his name, but being completely honest, when I say that, like, watching that fight, I truly did not think he was going to beat Salt Poppy. But he started landing to the body, and I saw it slowing Salt Poppy down. I was like, I mean, again, he was stacking coins for a rainy day, guys, and it paid off. He ended up landing real big, knocked Salt Poppy down, and it looked like Salt Poppy was having a hard time recovering. But man, Super Salt Poppy went out on his shield, as always, and then right after the fact gave him his respect. Of all the people on that entire card, Helwani included, the commentary team included, those two deserve the most respect.
Yeah, they definitely earned my respect, and that was definitely the most entertaining fight to watch, most certainly. Maybe even if it wasn't necessarily the highest level of boxing, although you can say some of the strikes we were watching, some of those exchanges definitely were. Not a lot of defense, I guess, is the only thing. I mean, once Slim got tired there, you saw Salt Poppy start to pepper him a little bit there with the signature moves and just that southpaw stance. But out of nowhere, man, the Slim, more like the Slim Reaper, like KD out here, man, came out of the woodworks, came out of the depths of, being 6 feet under, and somehow found a second win, was ripping the body, like you said, and then just started to put together 2 to 3 to 4 punch combos. And next thing you know, Salt Poppy was, he was so outline Poppy because he got KO'd, man. That was a tough one. Or TKO'd, but still great outing by Slim and just an all-around fun fight. And then I would say good class by our boy Salt Poppy as well after the math.
So something I really noticed, just to quickly point out, and I say this as a Salt Poppy fan, someone that was not a fan of Slim's going into this fight, but I have to say that Poppy, again, as Mad Max says, handles loss like a champion too. It's impressive, something that I also personally struggle with. Like losing is hard. It's harder than winning. That's a fact. So Salt Poppy is someone that handles loss and accepts loss very well. But I also have to say that, like, this is, again, something that was absolutely incredible to see. Slimification, the Hitman, Albahare, he's an absolute beast. I was not a fan of his going into this. I am a fan now moving forward. And there's reasons that I'm a fan moving forward, right? Obvious reasons. Now, those reasons are, again, because the man went in there and did work. And not only that, but he did work by way of just strategy and precision and sniper-like accuracy. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here and just play a quick clip of the fight if I can. Just going to go ahead and quickly play a copyright disclaimer. Got the backdrop changed out to a chalkboard now. Let's go ahead and present. Share screen. Boom. Here we go. So go ahead and go full screen here. Boom. You guys should see. Perfect. Here we go. So looking at the way that he lands these strikes, 1-2, 1-2, boom. The way that he pushes the head back here is honestly one of the best things. The quick 1-2, when he sees that the guard is wide at the top, we call that laser beams, right? So you got your hands here so that you're almost like pushing buttons to turn on the laser beams to the eyes or your laser beam punches, right? So his hands are out the wide stance here. Boom, boom, 1-2. As soon as he switches to the bald fist, I mean, you're in boxing gloves, so they're almost always a bald fist, right? But he has his hands further back, which creates the triangle as we call it, right? You can see that when Slim throws that overhand right, it goes right behind the triangle, connects hard, boom, right there. And that's what makes him push the hands right back off to the sides, which sets him up for the 1-2 again. He was doing this for the entirety of those last 2 rounds, folks. And again, hard to see, but beautiful to watch. Okay. Just absolutely fucking beast mode. The guy was getting it done. The guy was getting it done in emphatic fashion. And you just love to see it, folks. I wasn't a fan of his going in to the fight, as I said, but as Mad Max said, minimal waste in movement, not a ton of wind up or hesitation, just pumping knuckles, baby. And again, whether you're a Salt Poppy fan or a Slim fan.
And that's the way the news goes.
You know what I'm saying? Rick Sanchez said it best himself. That's the way the news goes. So, great fight between those two. The rest of the fights on that card, I can't really say the same for. There was a fucking tag team boxing fight on that match. Saw that at not Buffalo Wild Wings. At good old arcades, blips and shits, as Rick and Morty would call it. Dave and Buster's, folks. But again, great UFC fight night. Not so great influencer boxing fight card. I really think that this might end up being the end of influencer boxing in the next year or two. I think we're hitting kind of a crescendo to it or a plateau to it. And I truly think that, in all honesty, Fight Circus is going to outdo them in the coming years.
Fight Circus. What is that a different org?
Oh, if you haven't seen Fight Circus, you got to watch Fight Circus. Ben the Bane Davis commentated on their last fight. They had he actually leg wrestled a lady boy, I think. It was fantastic. You got to watch it. It was great. They had a Siamese twin boxing match where Rampage Jackson put on a Uncle Sam oversized outfit where he shared a torso with another ex-UFC fighter, or not UFC fighter, Pride fighter, Bob Sapp, and they boxed the creators of Fight Circus and they knocked them out. It was great. It's fantastic. They have 2-on-1 fights, 3-on-1 fights, boy versus girl fights. It's the craziest shit I've ever seen, but still better than slap box or slap fight. So he said, either y'all catch old Jake coked out of his gourd standing there listening to Logan do his post-fight speech. Yes. I honestly haven't seen anybody look that coked out since, I don't know, Leonardo DiCaprio playing that one fucking con artist in Wolf of Wall Street.
When they were on the lemons.
I'm not fucking leaving.
Yeah, that's a good call out. I mean, that's what'll that's how you look when you're on a bunch of H3H and TRT and peptides and also probably a lot of coke as well. Good call out.
Yeah, man. So again, I truly think. Oh, let's see what he said. He said, "Fight Circus is wild, messy, but fun." LOL for real. When people post stuff like that, I usually give the person the benefit of the doubt. I saw that one and was like, damn, bro. Facts. Fight Circus is definitely wild. Yeah, they had like one of the guys that works for the promotion fight two like Thai guys that are like 3 weight classes smaller than him at the same time. and he was wearing a suit and tie while he was boxing them.
Oh my
which
gosh.
just makes for a fucking awesome aesthetic. It looks like
That's
Games in
crazy.
New York. It's wild. I'll have to send you a clip after this while I'm paying you back that shot that I owe you. That being said, guys, we've got another episode tomorrow. We usually don't do them back to back, but Nano over here had a fucking hell of a weekend. He was a busy guy, and we love him for it. We're glad that he got some things checked off the list, crossed some T's, dotted some I's, and got things in the right direction, folks. So that being said, keep the passion for mixed martial arts alive. Keep on going. Keep on growing. And we'll see you tomorrow, guys. Same time, same place.
You've been listening to the MMAnomaly Show. No filter. As you may have been able to tell, we dig the MMA, and our passion is to dive deep into the upcoming fights, give you our expert breakdowns, and help you make sense of all the chaos that is the fight game. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, make sure to find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at MMAnomaly. Be cool, and we'll see you next time.